Today I am testing out another 3D printed product by Matt Caudill from Phlebo Corp. And here they are, the Phlebo 3D printed buffers. These were specifically designed for the Prime Core frames, but I'm being told that they fit with any UFS frame. Matt told me that they only raise about 2.5 millimeters to your ride height, so that's pretty cool. And the goal is just to kind of dampen that impact. So the Phlebo Corp buffer was designed specifically for the Prime Core frame because of the aluminum chassis and the problems that it presents. It's an incredible chassis, but it makes the impact on your foot really, really rough. And over time, that can really start to hurt you. Now, I was told by Matt by Phlebo Corp that these can be, of course, used with any UFS boot. You'll want to make sure you get your right size. These are a 270. I believe you can get 250. I don't know if he's going to be making 290, but since they're 3D printed, I bet you if you reached out to him, he might do that for you. Phlebo Corp also makes frame walls. Go ahead and follow him on the socials when you got a chance. Anyway, Matt, I can't thank you enough for letting me try these. I'm going to give them a go here after warming up on the VEMS and see if I can notice any immediate differences. My goal is to use these with the tree frames the whole time so I can really get the full experience of what these should be like on a Prime Core. And after about 25 days of non-stop skating because of the Blade for Sanity challenge, I'll be able to tell you what these are really like at the end. Let's go for a ride. Alright, first impressions right off the bat, I can definitely tell that these muted the impact. It feels like it takes away the sharp vibrations of the impact. I can definitely still feel the bass vibrations. I describe the immediate difference kind of like if you were to put your hand onto the hood of your car and feel the vibrations of the engine, and then put on like a knit wool glove and then did it again. In my 360 specifically, I could tell when I was landing that it felt so much more solid. I feel like without that high range of vibrations, you have a lot more control. I definitely could tell that they were a little taller. The 2.5 millimeters, though, it doesn't seem like it would be much. You can definitely tell. But so far, I haven't lost any predictability or consistency in the aluminum frame, so that's nice. I will say I would like to have them be a little bit softer. I don't know how achievable that is, but I think these are just scraping the feeling of a plastic frame when you combine this all together. Again, I have a footprint insole in here, so that compared with the buffer is definitely going to make the most amount of difference and coddle my feet the best way, like a little baby egg. I'm going to do some more generic skating and see if the 2.5 millimeter rise or if the cushion at all throws off my balance or my stance on grinds or just riding in general, and go from there. Alright, hello. So, final conclusions on my first impressions of the Phlebo Corp buffer. The first thing I wanted to test was Royales to see if that 2.5 millimeter rise was going to change my boot down at all, that and Unities. No changes here. I could definitely tell when you're doing H-block tricks, you feel the rail less, but that's okay because aluminum frames, you can feel every nook, cranny, and scratch on those things. All my normal grinds I could do completely the same, even with that minimal amount of feeling. I do think that it brings you to about a plastic level of feeling of a rail or an obstacle. And then I wanted to push myself a little bit by doing some 360s over this rail. I've never 360'd over an obstacle before, and I wanted to make sure that I was really getting my feet off the ground when doing 360s so I could actually judge a flat impact well. It was kind of scary. I was expecting to catch my toes on the underside and just break my chin. But I gotta say, the impact definitely felt better. It felt secure and it minimalized the vibrations, making it so my feet stopped shaking quicker, making me feel like I was on solid ground faster. Hello. How you doing? What's that? Oh my God, I didn't recognize you. My cousin just happened to be at the park and I didn't recognize her, so she was just staring at me. I was totally caught off guard. That's great. And then I want to try some hip transfers. I love transfers, and I always want to make sure that any setup that I have, I can do big transfers or at least attempt them confidently. And that minimal vibration definitely helps with the landing into a ramp. You feel connected to the ramp a lot quicker than you do if you've got a shaky setup. Another thing I noticed is these buffers do seem to help with speed because I'm a little bit more confident when I can't feel the ground as much. I just feel like I'm more secure. So you ride over bumps and small obstacles without really even noticing them. It's awesome. It makes transferring from concrete onto wood ramps much smoother. And then I wanted to try something that was kind of stupid but fun, is just jump right off the quarter pipe. I've never done this before, and this one was pretty scary too. I don't do flatland grabs, so jumping off of this and doing a grab was new for me. I'm used to ramps propelling me into a grab, but I'm happy to say I got something. So that being said, the landing was fantastic. I really thought that my feet were going to hurt more, but it really didn't. I haven't done very many big gaps, but I can tell that this buffer has helped with their vibrations enough that my feet aren't numb. And then I wanted to make sure I could still get some top sides before I left too. You never know with something like a 2.5 millimeter rise what's going to happen, so I'm happy to say that there's really no difference. You can get top sides down on this still really easy. All right, well, that will wrap it up for me. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention from an aesthetic standpoint that these stick out a little bit in front of the boot and behind the boot. Though that's not fantastic. For me, it's not a big deal, but if you care about aesthetics, that's something to be aware of. Thank you so much to Matt at Phlebo and to Tree for making this happen, Matt for printing them and designing them, and for Tree for hooking me up. I can't thank you guys enough. This community is fantastic. I love y'all. Anyway, it's been spooky, it's been wacky, and it's all over now. Adios.